What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here, back with another video. Today we're going to be looking at, nope, not this empty box, but what was inside the box. We're going to be looking at this. This is a new project I'm working on. This was actually bought at Dollar Tree for a whole $5. So this was a $5 plastic, officially licensed friction car of a Copo Camaro. I always laugh at these warning labels. Ages 4 and up. Adult supervision required. Not recommended. Required. Yes, because a child is going to be able to do some serious damage with a cheap plastic little car that has moving gears on the inside of it. I don't think it's that lethal. But then it says friction car on the tag up here. Obviously the Chevy logo. And this actually is misleading to the actual thing, because on this it's showing that the turn signals are painted. There's red lines on or orange lines on the hood scoop and different rims. So, fun fact, this is not actually Dollar Tree's mold. This is actually the same type of, it's a Copo Camaro, but it was originally an RC car. I know this because my brother used to have an RC car that looked identical to this. Well, identical to this, but not this. This is a cheaper version of it. This is essentially a very cheap version of this, and we'll get to why I know this was an RC car here in a little bit. But this is not an RC car. This is a push and release to roll back and it moves, or you push it forward and it moves by itself. You can hear those gears and stuff in the back of the wheels. And then on the back you can see that there are three different versions. There's the white version, which is what I have, the red version, and black version. Dollar Tree only carried the white one, or at least the one that I went to. Some other ones might carry the red and black versions. And then you have the black and red versions on that side as well. Warnings and legal information underneath. And the black version up top. So, you're probably wondering, okay, why did I get this? What was the point in spending $5 on a cheap-ass plastic, Camaro? Well, as you guys know, I originally wanted to build a Trans Am. Some of you guys might not know that. Some of you guys might know that. That was one of my dream ideas, was to build a 1979 through 81 style Trans Am, because my dad used to have one a long time ago. And unfortunately, life got in the way. He was not able to afford to keep it, so he ended up selling it. But to this day, it has been one of my favorite muscle cars of all time, if not my personal favorite muscle car of all time. And would just have loved to have kind of given him a second shot at having something that he didn't really get a whole lot of time to enjoy, because he had literally finished restoring it and then almost had to turn around and flip it or sell it for, yeah. So, what you're thinking, well, this is obviously not a Trans Am, this is a Camaro. There should be an image popping up on the screen right now of a Camaro body kit that you can get for this model of Camaro. This is a 2013 or 2010 through 13 model, and there is a body kit that fits this particular body style. So instead of getting a real Trans Am, what I'm going to do is, to save money, because believe it or not, to save money and time, I'm going to get a Camaro SS from 2010 to 2013's model and put this, what is called a ZTA body kit, over it. And that will convert it into a more modern day Trans Am. So I'm still going to have a Trans Am, it's just not going to be the traditional sense, and in the long run it's going to be a heck of a lot cheaper to do it that way than it is to actually build a real one, because then I don't have to worry about rust repair or T-top seals or body work or anything like that, I can just get a regular Camaro SS, take it to a body shop, have them take the fenders, the hood, and the bumpers off, and replace those pieces, and then boom, I have a more modern day Trans Am. And I figured since I have a more modern day version of Ecto 1, might as well go ahead and add a more modern day Trans Am to go along with it. Now, keep in mind that the image that is still showing up here is a piss poor Photoshop renderization of what I would like it to look like. Obviously, the real car will look a lot different and a lot better than my piss poor Photoshop version of it, but bear with me, I did my best. So, now we come back to this. Same car, same 2010 through 13 Camaro body style, almost identical. Obviously, the only difference is the front bumper, the fenders, the hood, and the rear bumper and tail lights. So as you can tell, I have already started modifying this car. I cut the middle sections for the brake lights and stuff out so I can hopefully sculpt over it to make it look like the ZTA tail lights. I've already started cutting down on the spoiler. I broke out the headlights. That's why you can hear it rattling. I already took this thing apart and started working on it earlier. This little grill insert piece is just kind of sitting in there, but the grill section in here will be filled in to make it mimic the ZTA kit. All of this stuff is going to be sculpted over to make it look like the ZTA headlight lenses and grills to mimic that. All of this is going to be sanded off and made to look like the shaker that is on the ZTA body kit, because mine will have a shaker. It's not going to have the two hood vents on the top of it. It's going to be the shaker edition. And then I'm going to try to see if I can mimic the fender vent that's on the side, because most Trans Ams after 1974 had the first one in 1968 or 1967. They had similar vents on the fenders, but they were actual vents, and then later they've just ended up becoming like full-on sculpted ports or whatever for air to get into the engine to help boost up horsepower or whatever the heck that they used them for back in the day. And then for back here, luckily this part's actually going to be super easy. The tail light lenses are just going to be sculpted over and then have the white lines or lines through them to mimic what the ZTA tail lights and stuff are going to look like. And then back here for the spoiler, I want to do a 3-piece spoiler for my car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sculpt a three-piece spoiler as best I can for this. Now, this is not going to be perfect, and I know that. That's why I didn't care spending the $5 to freaking get a cheap-ass little plastic car if I was going to destroy it. When I'm done with it, it'll look better than this, but it's not going to be perfect. I already know that. Because this thing was a piece of shit. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to lie. This thing was a cheap piece of crap. The plastic feels cheap. The overall build quality feels cheap. It's extremely fragile. Okay, not extremely fragile. It's actually pretty well put together, all things considered. But it's a Dollar Tree thing. You get what you pay for. This thing costs $5. You get a $5 feeling thing. And you can hear the stuff rattling in it. That's just the headlight lenses and the screws that hold in the windows and the chassis to the car. Because right now there's nothing holding it together. It is literally being held together with friction. As you can see, it's already starting to come apart because I'm just simply able to take this off. So the way, like I said earlier, the way I know that this is an RC car is if you flip it upside down, you can see that this panel right here, this mold line here, that was the compartment for the AA batteries that you would have put in here to actually power the RC car. And then right here was the front tire adjustment controls, so you could have it going straighter or be able to have it be a drift car. And then back here was the counterbalance for the RC car, so that way you had more. I believe this is where the actual bottom part of the motor that powered the back tires for the RC car was powered through here. So what essentially Dollar Tree has done, or the company that made this car or made this piece did, was they took an already existing model car, or RC car kit. They reskinned or remolded the top shell. They copied it exactly. They half-assed did the design work, as you can see right there. The one on the box looks nothing. Well, that doesn't look nothing like, but it's not an exact representation of what's in my hand currently. Like I said, these pieces are not painted, and then this part up here is not printed on as well. Nor is the license plate logo. That's fine. I plan on fixing all that stuff on the custom build anyway. So, and that's just kind of a fun little thing that I can see, is that, that piece right here that was meant for the motor to actually move the back tires for the RC car, and then this panel right here, you can actually literally see the mold line from where this was taken, and was used for the batteries. And then obviously this is my favorite part of it up here. This is why I think this is how I know this was an RC car, is because this was the dial that you would have to rotate to adjust the front tires position, so that way it could either be straight on, or you could adjust it so where it went perfectly straight and then turned, or essentially it was like a tie rod for a RC car. You could adjust where the alignment was, and that's essentially what this was for. So then taking this thing apart, freeing all the loose shit inside it, just gonna set that stuff off to the side. Very bare bones. There's like nothing extravagant holding this in, because it's Dollar Tree. You have a very simple gear mechanism for the back tires. You move them in one direction, it goes one way. You move it in another direction, it starts moving the other way. But it's like this actually does act like a mini motor. So again, I'm not the best when it comes to detailing all this stuff, but I mean, you can see the gears and stuff in there moving, and you can hear it as well. So when you move it, when you push it forward, it gives it a second, but it does eventually move it by itself, versus, obviously the other side moves a lot more freely because there's no motor and stuff there. This is not really a motor as well. This is just a gear system, to where it's kind of like those really cheap things that you can get at like Tom Thumb, where you pull it back and then you pull it back so much and then you release it and then it goes crazy. I used to have a lot of those when I was a kid. But this is as bare bones as it gets. So, which is perfect for me, because stuff like the exhaust pipes and stuff on the bottom, and so I'm going to end up detailing all that stuff anyway. And I'll do a day build thing with this. So I'll do like, this is one day, this is another day, this is another day, this is another day, and so on and so forth, until I eventually get it done. So that way you guys can actually see, hey, I'm the one doing this. Because I've had so many people actually doubt me about my custom build work. Some people think that I just take it to somebody else and do it. That's not the case. I actually do most of this stuff myself. Sometimes, yes, my family members will help me, like doing fine details, but I'm the one who usually ends up actually doing this stuff. Like the RC cars that I built beforehand, in a previous video, I did all those. So, and this is no different. So I already have all this stuff unscrewed. So when I'm ready for it, all I have to do is just literally pop the windshield and stuff out like this without breaking it. It'll come out no problem. It's only these rubber mirrors that are holding that stuff currently in place. if those mirrors were not there, then we'd have no issues. So, and then this trim work along here is going to get eventually redone. The mirror glass that's in there, because there's a spot molded for like a chrome decal to fit in there, but they haven't painted really anything on here. They even have the emergency turn off button painted over and printed on there. So you had this emergency push off. So it's like if the car started to malfunction or if it got caught in someone's hair, you could take like a pin or something and push it, and it would kill the whole system in one shot. If I remember correctly, that's what that was. I can't remember, unless that was the actual button to turn on the lights or something. Because I'm pretty sure this original RC car did in fact have LEDs, because there's a spot for it right there and right there. So I think that the actual RC car version of this did have LEDs, but obviously since this is a cheap ass Dollar Tree version of it, it's not going to have those pieces. So I'm excited for this build. I haven't done anything really like this ever, or at least not to this extent. Usually when I do something like this, for instance, for those RC cars, I take a RC car chassis and put a shell on top of it and paint the shell and call it a day, and the shell ends up being a model kit that I paint and customize myself, and then I just, boom, you have a custom RC car. With this, however, yeah, it's still technically an RC car, because that's what this mold started off life as, was an RC car. But I'm literally having to sculpt essentially an entire new front end for this thing and new taillight lenses. At least it's just the lenses and it's not the actual bumper. But the fenders are going to have to be modified. The hood is going to have to be modified. The front bumper is going to have to be heavily modified. And it's going to be an undertaking. I know this. It's going to be a challenge. And I'm already dreading trying to figure out how to make this work for me, not against me. So that's going to be fun. But hopefully I can figure this out, and hopefully when I'm done with it, it'll look pretty close to the image that pulled up earlier. So let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section down below. Are you guys cool with this? Do you like this idea? Do you hate this idea? And let me know what you guys think of all of this stuff down in the comment section below. We're just going to leave that as is, because it's just going to get taken apart again anyway. So, like I said, hopefully I'll be able to turn this into that. So, obviously a smaller image of the ZTA that I want to build is pulling up on camera right now, or should be up already. So, like I said, I eventually want to turn this piece into that piece, or have it look as close as I possibly can to it. I'm not the best when it comes to sculpting stuff. You guys know that about me. I am also not the best when it comes to painting stuff. You guys definitely know that about me. Granted, yes, I will admit his eyes grow on me every day, but his pupils still look a little funny. But I did the best with what I had to work with. So this is not the best example, but this was the closest example that I could get my hands on. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this idea. Like I said, do you like this idea? Do you think it's a stupid idea? Are you excited to see this come to fruition? Do you even know what the heck a ZTA body kit is? If you don't know what it is, I'll put a link to the description below if you want to check out a video talking about it. For those of you who are potential car enthusiasts like me, if you guys want to try to do something like this yourself, I will attempt to do a step. Now, okay, I take that back. I'm not going to do a step-by-step video process on how to do this, because even I don't know what I'm going to have to do with this. But at some point, I will do a RC car build video where I will show you how to build a custom RC car out of a model kit, essentially. Now, you want to make sure that the wheelbase on those are the same. I'll do that in a whole separate video, though. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this idea in the comment section down below. I am going to hold on to this box because when I eventually do break out this custom thing, I would like to have it be in its box, preserved and looking nice and pretty. Well, as pretty as I can make it. But for a reference, this is actually the best version or example or whatever I can find or come up with, actually, to show you guys what I mean about if I sculpt stuff right and I do it the right way, you'll never be able to tell that it was not meant to look like that. For example, this looked more like this. Okay, so this hardtop, this is based off my dad's Trans Am, so his car kind of looked like this. Actually, it looked exactly like this, except, 1-to-1 scale, not 1/10 scale, or whatever scale this car is. But this is what it looked like. It had these two glass pieces up top here. Now, they're still there, but what I did was I took epoxy putty and smothered it all over here. I sanded it down several times to get it a nice smooth finish, and now you never know the difference. So you can't actually tell that this ended up or once started life looking out like T-tops. Same thing with the shaker that was right here. There was a shaker hole in the hood, where there was a hood scoop that would have fed through there. Same thing. I filled that with epoxy putty, smoothed out everything repeatedly, and now it's so smooth you can't tell the difference. In fact, my dad actually commented on this when I gave this to him for Christmas a couple years ago, that it is so smooth it looks like it was meant to be like that. Like this was molded at the factory for the model kit like that. So I know I can do it. I know it's going to be a bitch, but I also have faith in my time and effort that I'm going to end up probably putting into this damn thing. So I know if I can do it for this, I can definitely do it for this tiny little car. It's just more exaggerated and over the top sculpting work, and not just, covering up something that was there beforehand on two parts, sanding it down repeatedly until you get it as smooth as a baby's butt. Because no joke, this feels no different than the doors. And I didn't do anything to the doors. This feels as smooth as this. So, yeah. You honestly can't tell that there were originally T-tops on this car or a shaker hood scoop where the hood was. Or where the hood is. Because I sanded everything down and sculpted over it to where you couldn't see anything on it. So yes, I know my dad has left this in its box. He would rather preserve it, and he doesn't really have a space for it right now. But I'm sure eventually, once he has a space for it, this will be out of its box and in a cabinet or case or something, so that way everybody can see it and everyone can see what my dad kind of used to have when he was younger. And what I kind of grew up around when I was a kid. So, because this looks identical to what his was. Hard top, no hole in the hood, and same bird, same license plate, everything. So, and obviously same rims as well. So, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it doesn't look like much right now, because right now it is just a shell on a chassis, because that's essentially all this is right now. But I promise you, hopefully by the time this is done, it'll look more like that image that was pulling up earlier. And like I said, if I can do my dad's Trans Am in a much larger scale, I should hopefully be able to do a custom car through a smaller scale. So And obviously I'm able to do other stuff like that since I do all of my custom action figure stuff and everything else in between. So I'm hoping that this will eventually look the way it's supposed to. So fingers crossed that works. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to get this project started. And I'll catch you guys all next time. Bye.